Fleming. Here. Councilman Root. Here. Deputy District Commissioner Deitchley. Here. Councilman Graham.
Here.
Mayor Jenkins.
Present.
Mayor Wood.
Here.
All right, we do have 10 members in the room. Since we do have at least 10 members in the room, we are able to accommodate all virtual policy board members as long as they can be seen and heard. We will go through to see members that are present online. Mayor Center.
Here. Present.
Thank you. I just have to write everybody's name down as I'm doing this, so it might take me an extra second. Mayor Tallmer.
Present.
Mayor Robertson.
Present.
Mayor Stutzman had mentioned that he might not be able to make it, but I'll see if he's online. Mayor Stutzman? And Mayor Mueller. All right. Councilman Fish.
Here. Present.
Commissioner Wyrick. Councilwoman Campbell. Councilman Wiggins. Deputy District Commissioner Johnson. Are there any other members that, for whatever reason, I have skipped that are present? There being none, we have 10 members that are in person, and we have 4 members that will be voting virtually today. We do have more than a quorum and more than enough to accommodate a virtual presence, so we can conduct today's meeting.
Okay, thank you, James. For our reports, then I guess we'll call for minutes, approval of the minutes from June 9th. Should have had those in your packet.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
We will actually, because we are
Okay.
handling virtual today, we will have to, per our policy, do roll call. So please, on all of these, bear with us as we do roll call votes. So Commissioner Groninger,
Yes.
Commissioner Overmeyer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hammond,
Yes.
Councilman Belovic,
Yes.
Commissioner Fleming,
Yes.
Councilman Root, Deputy District Commissioner Deitchley, Councilman Graham,
Yes.
Mayor Jenkins,
Yes.
Mayor Wood,
Yes.
Mayor Center,
Yes.
Mayor Tallmer, Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Do I have to be seen and heard?
You do have to be seen and heard.
All right, hold on one second.
All right,
There I am. Can you see me?
we can see you.
All right, yes.
Thank you. Councilman Fish,
Yes.
that motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, next on our agenda is reports. As far as chairman reports,
There is no official chairman's report with Mayor Stutzman being out. We would just move to financials.
okay.
Opposed? None?
So those will move to the financial report.
Good morning.
President's report, I have nothing.
Hopefully you all have the May 2021 financial report. Our year-to-date expenses for the fiscal year ending May 31st was $5,014,359.27, which is 63% of our annual budget. Our cash balance at the end of May was $2,724,165.92. And our total disbursements in the month of May was $522,534.63. Are there any questions over the financial report? If not, I'd like to ask for the board's approval of the May 2021 financial report.
Motion to approve the financial report.
Second.
So we got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Groninger,
Yes.
Commissioner Overmeyer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hammond,
Aye.
Councilman Belovic,
Yes.
Commissioner Fleming,
Yes.
Councilman Root, Deputy District Commissioner Deitchley, Councilman Graham,
Yes.
Mayor Jenkins,
Yes.
Mayor Wood,
Yes.
Mayor Center,
Yes.
Mayor Tallmer.
He's trying.
Yes.
Thank you. Mayor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Thank you. So the next on the agenda is our fiscal year 2020 State Board of Accounts Audit Report.
Correct. Hopefully you all received the audit report. It was released during this past month. I believe James talked about this last month, but just briefly, everything went well with the audit. We had no findings, so there's no corrective actions to have to do or anything like that. And that's about it. So if anybody has any questions over it.
Yeah, I just want to take a minute to thank Debbie and Molly, our financial staff, as it was another successful audit. No real issues. This was just a different kind of audit than normal. I mean, it was the normal annual audit, but the reason it was different was this was the first time that I can think of in our history. I can't speak for all 50 years, but at least 14 of them, that the audit was not actually conducted directly by State Board of Accounts staff. State Board of Accounts had authorized, because of all of the audits and where they're at from a workload, Crow to do that audit. So in the future, Crow or another private firm may end up doing these audits on behalf of State Board of Accounts, just as the workload for State Board continues to grow, especially if you think about all of the federal funds that'll be out there in many communities from CARES or ARP. And so we will be looking at whether or not that's an option to keep our audits in a more timely manner. Because you'll note that this is the filed and submitted on June 29th of 2021 for a fiscal year that closed a year ago. So we're now ready, theoretically. Debbie says no. But theoretically, we just closed
ready.
fiscal year 2021, right?
21.
So we would love in the future to get back towards, kind of from November through kind of February timeframe of having that audit done earlier. But so we will be exploring that. It's also why in the budget this year, we had shown higher amounts for our audit, because we were unsure of what the final cost for this audit will be. Although it's a negotiated rate through State Board, it'll be cheaper than completely private sector. It is a little bit of an unknown, so just informational for you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your hard work on that. It's great to see there's no corrective actions needed. Next on the agenda is Secretary Report. That'd be me. It looks like there is I think 3 modifications there. Make sure you look at those in your packet. So, and I think we'll move on to.
I have a quick question for legal here. Do we need to do an endorsement or acceptance of the audit? No. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. The answer for those at home was no, it's informational.
So next on our agenda this morning would be old business. So any old business today?
There is no old business.
Okay, so we'll roll right into new business.
All right, good morning. I just wanted to make a note in order to kind of relieve some of the roll call votes. We've kind of restructured some of our agenda. So I'll be presenting a resolution for all of our transportation-related items and then move on to our transit items. And we have quite a lengthy list, but I'll go through them fairly quickly. For Transportation Resolution 28-21, we have a locally initiated project by Kosciuszko County. This is for Bridge 227 on South Hand Street over Walnut Creek. This action is changing the scope, so it was originally programmed as bridge rehabilitation and repair, and now it is transitioning to bridge replacement and also an increase in funding for construction. The remaining items that we have are all NDOT initiated. This first item is for added travel lanes on US 33 from County Road 40 to Monroe Street. This project is adding in just preliminary engineering currently. Item C is for an intersection improvement project with added turn lanes at State Route 19 at County Road 28. And then the rest of the items for the Fort Wayne district are all HMA overlay projects, adding in preliminary engineering. Item D is for State Route 19 north of Napanee, all the way to State Route 119. Item E is for State Route 13 through Middlebury from US 20 to York Drive. Item F is in Silver Lake along State Route 14. Item G is for US 33 between Elkhart and Goshen from the north junction of State Route 15 to County Road 15. And then item H is in Syracuse along State Route 13. All right, the remaining items are in the LaPorte district. Item I is for State Route 17 north of Culver from the State Route 10 to State Route 8. And this is adding in PE as well as construction. Item J is also north of Culver along State Route 10 from the west junction of 17 to the east junction of 17. Item K is for an intersection improvement in Granger at State Route 23 and Adams Road. Item L is for adding in PE and construction along US 30 in western Marshall County. It starts in Stark County and ends in Union Road. And then item M is along State Route 933 from the Ash Road to Bittersweet Road. And item N continues that project to State Route 331, Capitol Avenue. All right. And with that, I think that concludes all of the transportation items. If there are no questions, I would ask for your approval of Resolution 28-21.
Got a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call here.
Commissioner Groninger,
Yes.
Commissioner Overmeyer, Councilwoman Hammond,
Aye.
Councilman Belovic,
Yes.
Commissioner Fleming, Councilman Root, Deputy District Commissioner Deitchley, Councilman Graham,
Yes.
Mayor Jenkins,
Yes.
Mayor Wood, Mayor Center,
Yes.
Mayor Talmer,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next resolution then?
Yeah, next resolution is for Transit Resolution 29-21. This item is programming in Section 5310 funds for transit administration as well as the purchase of vehicles. This is a funding program through FTA that is intended to enhance mobility for seniors as well as those individuals with disabilities. In the past, Transpo has been administering this program. However, this year we're transitioning to MACOG. So you'll see those administration funds go to us, and then we're also planning to hold a call for projects for the purchase of vehicles coming up here soon. And so our plan is to kind of hold this call on an annual basis to provide nonprofits, public entities, and those who provide kind of specialized transportation services, funding opportunities for capital and operating expenses.
And I just want to provide a little bit of additional detail. Caitlin's explained that very well, but just to make sure everybody understands that this funding in particular would just be for in St. Joseph County. You'll know that this funding is available, the 5310 funds is available in all of the counties across the state of Indiana. It's just that in our region, in Elkhart, Marshall, and Kosciuszko, that process is administered by the state. So we will help any of those kind of entities look to apply to those funds directly to the state, and we will provide that assistance. And you'll know that in the past, you've seen those kind of applications come forward from councils on agings or Kosciuszko Senior Services or Marshall Stark Development or those kind of organizations. This funding, way back during MAP 21, so like 2014 timeframe, the legislation changed where it said the state no longer had to administer in the large urban areas this program. And at that time, the state said, okay, we're going to turn this over to the local organization, either the transit provider or the metropolitan planning organization. At the time, Transpo willfully and wanting to take that program on, thought it was in their best interest to take that program on, and we've supported them throughout the last few years. They just have struggled from a staffing perspective to really handle this program as well as all of their other programs. And so they had asked that we take the program back over. And so this is the first kind of amendment. You'll see more of these in the future, but this is that first amendment for us to start to take that program back over and administer the program from here on out. So, but these funds will be for St. Joe County, just as a FYI.
Thank you. Look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
We got a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call here.
Commissioner Groninger.
Yes?
Commissioner Overmeyer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hammond.
Aye.
Councilman Belovic.
Yes.
Commissioner Fleming.
Yes.
Councilman Root. Deputy District Commissioner Deitchley. Councilman Graham.
Yes.
Mayor Jenkins.
Yes.
Mayor Wood. Mayor Center.
Yes.
Mayor Tallmer.
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Thank you. Our next resolution is an update on Resolution 30-21.
Yeah, I can take the skinny version of that, and I'm sure James might want to elaborate. But since the adoption of our fiscal year 22 to 26 Transportation Improvement Program, we received some kind of recommendations from the state as well as Federal Highway for some additional items that should be included or updated within that plan. The first is the inclusion of CRISA funds in our fiscal constraints. So, over the past year and a half, they've had a variety of funding that's come available due to the pandemic. And so this is particularly for the Highway Infrastructure Program through the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations. And so when we were developing our TIP, this was kind of just becoming finalized. And so now we're incorporating it into our fiscal constraint to show that it is a source of funding that is available through 2024. The next is an update to the estimated total project cost column. This has been included in our TIP for many years now, but we received some updated funding amounts from the state, and so our TIP this month will reflect those new estimated total project costs, which is supposed to be a comprehensive cost of the project, no matter what phase the project's in. And then the last is the inclusion of some narrative related to the periodic evaluation of facilities requiring repeated repair and reconstruction due to emergency events. And so the state is responsible for kind of conducting these periodic evaluations. So anytime emergency repair funds are required at a site, 2 or more times, the state's supposed to show that they've conducted an evaluation and also offered kind of reasonable alternatives that may prevent that repeated repair in the future. And so we're including some of that in the process in our narrative. I don't believe we have any locations that have had to require repeated repair, but in the future, if so, the state will kind of evaluate those as they come.
The balcony.
Okay. James, you have anything further you want to?
No, Caitlin's covered it really well. Essentially, we would have handled these comments from Federal Highway or NDOT had they been provided earlier when we were drafting the document. These things have just kind of come up as the state has finished its statewide transportation improvement program, and they were noted as kind of areas for improvement for the state transportation improvement program. And in order to help, we want to make sure that we just add these to our tip so that it doesn't slow anything down for the state. So that's why we're making these changes kind of outside of cycle.
Okay. So look for a motion to update that resolution on 30-21.
So moved. Second.
So we got a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call here.
Commissioner Groninger,
Yes.
Commissioner Overmeyer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hammond,
Aye.
Councilman Belovic,
Yes.
Commissioner Fleming,
Yes.
Councilman Root, Deputy District Commissioner Deitchley, Councilman Graham,
Yes.
Mayor Jenkins,
Yes.
Mayor Wood, Mayor Center,
Yes.
Mayor Tallmer,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Thank you. Well, then under our other action, we have one more resolution, 31-21. James, you taking that one?
This one will be mine, so I'll explain this one. And I'll be happy to answer any questions if there are any about this resolution. So this is a resolution, Resolution 31-21 is initiating a transfer or trade of funds with the Greater Lafayette Public Transportation Corporation. The Greater Lafayette Public Transportation Corporation, if you don't know them, they are the entity that operates, or more fondly maybe known as City Bus in Lafayette. So they're the public transit provider in Lafayette. We have a long storied history of working with the City Bus and the Greater Lafayette Public Transportation Corp, where we have throughout the years, usually about every 2 or so years, traded funding with them. And what I mean there is that we provide them with some excess federal funds that can be used for public transit, and they provide us with some excess local funds that we can use as local match. If we think about this, this has happened multiple times over the course of the last 10 years, I would say, usually about once every 2 years. And what this does is this allows for MACOG to have more local funds to operate and oversee the operations of the interurban trolley. So this provides us with additional local funds that we can use then to match state funds, and then to use both of those to match federal funds to oversee the operations of the trolley. Typically, this is a transfer of $1 million in federal funds, and they provide $500,000 in local funds. Because of various additional stimulus funds that we have utilized and programmed, we have a little bit extra of just our standard 5307 funds. And so this is actually looking to transfer $2 million in the standard Section 5307 funds from the Elkhart-Goshen urbanized area, and that then the Greater Lafayette PTC or City Bus would transfer to MACOG $1 million in local funds. So this transfer would give us significant local dollars that we can then leverage one-to-one to match state funds, and then for every $2 we have, leverage that on capital projects to $8 to match $8 of federal funds, or if it's operating, we would get an additional $2, so a 50-50 rate for operating assistance. I can answer any questions about this resolution, and I'm more than happy to do that. But essentially, what we're looking to do is to provide them with $2 million in federal funds, and they would provide us $1 million in local funds. The board has done this, like I said, multiple times throughout history, unanimously, usually once every 2 to 3 years. So happy to answer any questions.
So Jim, just so I understand that, so with those, even though it's not a dollar for dollar trade as far as a 2 million to 1 million, because we're able to then use that as a yard to match with state funds, I mean, realistically, we're still ending up with more dollars because of the match that comes from other entities?
Yeah, so I mean, if you think about this, those federal dollars, if we're using it on operations, so if we're giving up $2 million, we need to come up with $2 million in local funds to use those.
Right.
So if we don't have the local match right now to use those $2 million, we would at least be able to have City Bus use them, who has, in general, I don't want to speak to their financial situation, but because they have agreements with Purdue and then taxing in Lafayette and West Lafayette and all of that, they tend to have more local dollars available. And so we're not able to fully match those $2 million, especially then the problem that's created by having, it's a good problem, but the problem with the like 100% CARES Act funds that we received is that we have an excess set of funds right now. And these funds are only good for 3 years after they've been appropriated. So if we program them right now, it might be very onerous of us to try and actually get all of these funds obligated. But the biggest thing is we don't have the local match on an annual basis to match that set of funds. And we usually have a shortage of local funds because MACOG is not a taxing district. We don't have any taxing authority. So everything that we're doing with the transit is focused on kind of agreements with local governments, on fair revenue, on those kind of items. And so this allows us to trade those funds away, get local funds that then we're able to leverage on a one-to-one basis with the state and on a, one-to-one with feds if it's operating, or a 2-to-8 ratio where we're able to get a lot more capital funds. So without this, we wouldn't have enough local match.
This is something that's been going on for years.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up to have here of which years that was done previously, and I can get that if that's needed. But it's gone on for a number of years. I want to say dating back to at least 2008. And it would be, for example, we did this in 2019, 2017, 2015, 2012, and 2009.
Pretty much you only do it when you have excess funds.
Correct.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Do a roll call vote here if there's no other questions. Okay, move forward with the roll call.
Commissioner Groninger,
Yes.
Commissioner Overmeyer,
Yes.
Councilwoman Hammond,
Yes.
Councilman Belovic,
Yes.
Commissioner Fleming,
Yes.
Councilman Root, Deputy District Commissioner Deitchley, Councilman Graham,
Yes.
Mayor Jenkins,
Yes.
Mayor Wood,
Yes.
Mayor Center,
Here, yes.
Mayor Tolmer,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilman Fish.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Thank you, James. Okay, next on our agenda then is we're into staff updates. So we get a few new members to introduce.
Yeah, hopefully members who were here last month got to meet a few new staff members as well, but we do have a few additional folks that we'd like to introduce you to. Today we'll be introducing you to David Harker, our new traffic data planner. So I will let David introduce himself. He may be a familiar face, and I'll let you try and spot where you may know him from.
Well, and even at that, I usually only get 3 minutes in my ear, so if you want to go ahead and give me a rap signal whenever you guys are ready, that's fine. As James stated, I'm David Harker. Most of you may know me from television because I was here locally in television for 6 years. I've been 12 years in the media business. Most recently, I came from the city of Mishawaka under Mayor Wood and the Mishawaka Utilities Department. So I spent 2 years there doing water sampling with wastewater. Now I'm 3 weeks or so here on the job with MACOG and doing traffic data planning. Honestly, when I came into this job, I had no idea what exactly I was doing. However, being a geographer by trade, it's come very quickly. So I'll be doing a lot of the crash analysis for local communities. So if there's anything that I can do to make life happier or give you the data you need in a quick amount of time, please do let me know.
Welcome, David.
Thank you.
Additionally, we wanted to introduce our summer intern, Sophia. Sophia is, I believe, if I have this correct, a resident in Goshen, but I'll let Sophia introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Sophia Gladden. I'm currently the planning intern for MACOG, and I'm a senior at IUSB studying political science and history. I look forward to interacting with you all as I get the opportunity to.
Thank you. Welcome. Okay, next on our agenda this morning is grants. Community crossing.
Hi there, good morning. Just a quick update. Community Crossings is open. This is the second call of 2021. There were several communities that capped out at $1 million during the first call, but we do have currently 13 confirmed communities that are applying within the MACOG region, in which we are helping all of them out with. And additionally, there are 2 others that are looking towards trying to get the application put in as well. So it does close on July 30th at 5 p.m. So let me know if you needed any help with that, or your staff does, I mean.
Thank you, Ryan. Next on the agenda is plans and programs.
Good morning. So as of last Wednesday, the Interurban Trolley has joined Transpo in offering mobile tickets using the Token Transit app. So now you can buy mobile tickets throughout our region for transit passes. We're particularly excited about this because all of the administrative costs, so we're not going to lose any fare revenue, will be completely covered by a federal grant that we received through a competitive grant for innovation post-COVID. So now you can now purchase digital tickets throughout the transit systems, both for Transpo and the trolley.
So will you be still able to purchase them on the bus too?
We are not making any other changes. So.
Yeah, this is just a new avenue. We're not taking anything else away. So right now, we think it'll enhance options, because if you think about it, right now, the only pass that we sell on the vehicle is a day pass, right? But we also offer, and Jeremiah, correct me, because I always get my days wrong.
So
14?
We currently offer 14 and 31 day passes, but those can only be either purchased through our office. And before we went to Token Transit, we had to mail those out, which is still an option, so that people who don't have smartphones agencies can still buy them through our office. And you also are able to purchase all of our passes at 6 different Martin's locations in Elkhart and Goshen. Yeah. So Token Transit is just adding to that. So now if someone has a smartphone and they want a 31-day pass, they can purchase it anywhere without having to visit our website and have one mailed to them or having to physically go into Martin's. Yeah. So we're particularly excited about that. And these tickets, all of our ticket options are available on Token Transit, both for the trolley and access customers can also purchase access fares on there.
So is it a virtual ticket?
Yeah, it's
a virtual
literally,
ticket.
you would open it up, it'd be on your phone, it looks like what's on the screen there. And then there's a little validator, it's a little box that's on the fare box, and the person has their ticket and they tap that, and then if it's correct and active, it'll pulse on their phone, and then also the validator, if they're a trolley pass, it'll light up green, and if it's a Transpo pass, it'll light up blue. So, yeah, it's just a more instantaneous option. So Martin's has been a great and outstanding partner with us, and we're going to continue to sell as long as they want us to continue to sell at their location those passes. It's been a great partnership with them, and we wouldn't look to change that in any way. But this just allows folks to do it a little bit more instantaneously. And also then, you know, that they're not having to wait for something to be mailed if they've done it through PayPal. But all of those options are still available.
And we don't plan to change any other options, so
Yeah.
this is just an enhancement.
Great, thanks. Next one is the Crossway Trails monthly update.
Good morning. I have a quick update on our Crossway Trails Month. We're about halfway through. This is our celebration of the region's trails and active transportation as a whole. We've had the mileage challenge and the Crossway Trails duck scavenger hunt, and they've been pretty well received, getting a lot of great engagement. So far, we have over 2,500 miles logged. Those are walking, running, and riding miles, and just over 200 of those are commuter miles. So it's pretty great to see. There's still time to join, and you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Crossway Trails and stay updated.
Okay, great, thanks. Next on the agenda is a regional freight mobility plan update.
Yes, I've mentioned this a couple times now, I think at policy board, but we're in the initial stages of our regional freight mobility plan. The purpose of the plan is to kind of enhance freight through surface transportation. We originally had our first steering committee meeting scheduled for this week, but had to postpone due to some triennial review meetings that were scheduled. So there's still a chance to participate in the steering committee if you wish. Thanks to Commissioner Gruninger and Commissioner Overmeyer for expressing interest and being willing to participate on that. We look to have our first steering committee meeting now, probably the beginning of August. And we'll kind of look forward to some of the outcomes that will happen over the next year and a half.
Awesome, thank you, Caitlin.
Additionally, if in your work as elected officials, if you have any communications with businesses or freight shippers directly, and you think that they might have particular issues or that they might want to get plugged into this process, please feel free to let them know, to let us know, so that we can get them engaged, because so much of this freight study will be about understanding and have a deep-rooted understanding of where there are logistics challenges, where there are gaps or problems in the transportation network that we could try to address related to freight-related issues. So if you are aware or know those kind of entities, whether they're businesses that just do a lot of shipping of goods, or if they are freight forwarders, we're contacting a lot of them. But if you also have any ability to talk with them, please do. I see that Councilman Fish, you had a question?
I do. Does this apply to local transfer too? We've got a lot of local companies that have their production units spread out across the city and the county. And they literally go through neighborhoods. Can we include them in this conversation?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, not only is it about travel to and from the region for freight, but it's also about how freight moves around within the region. So absolutely.
Matthew, are you on that committee?
Would you like to be?
Well,
Yeah.
I just think that if we're going to be talking about this, I think NDOT has to be included, because I think that's basically what it boils down to.
Yeah. No, and we were also asking, and her name's going to escape me, but NDOT's freight manager, is it Kristen? Yeah, there we go, to be involved as well, so.
Not to throw you under the bus, but
James, this is Dwight again.
Yes,
Please include me in your steering committee. I'd be happy to help.
okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions on that? Not, we'll move to the next item, which is regional broadband survey.
Yeah, so just wanted to report on the results. Hopefully you have all, through either board meetings or more importantly, hopefully you've heard us via Facebook and social media, on WVPE. You may have heard my voice the other day on WTCA during their kind of local talk show in the morning, as well as then just through media outlets that we are doing a regional broadband survey and speed test. We've had pretty good results so far. It's been open for about a month. We have a soft deadline where we're encouraging folks to do that survey and speed test by July 16th. So far, we have had over 1,300 households in the region take that survey and speed test. The survey and speed test, the survey asks a series of questions about usage, about how folks use their broadband and internet, and how much that costs, to understand questions about affordability and kind of the demand. The speed test, which is virtually instantaneous, lets us know what type of download and upload speeds they are getting. You know, are they achieving the federal standard of 25 down and 3 up? So that lets us then, if they've consented to us mapping roughly their location, it's not going to be a perfect pinpoint because we don't need that, but roughly kind of in their area, we're able to then visualize where there are challenges with our existing kind of broadband and high-speed internet, where we can see where we're not achieving the federal standards, where we are, where there are challenges, where there are questions of affordability, so that then we can, right now we're working with Purdue Center for Regional Development, Roberto Gallardo and his folks there, to kind of put together a regional report that just highlights the state of broadband and kind of where we're at as a region. So much of 2020 highlighted, this was an issue that many of you have talked about for years, so it was not a new issue. But 2020, I feel like, put a pinpoint and very highlighted the essential nature that broadband provides in our daily lives now. Two decades ago, maybe it was a luxury, but anymore, to work, to have your kids go to school, to sometimes even see the doctor, to just simple things like streaming Netflix. It's such an important part of our daily life. And so what we're trying to do is see from a regional perspective where there might be challenges. And the reason why we want to do that is that there are going to be, and are right now, the state has allocated $270 million for its next round of broadband funding. And there are going to be more programs around this, whether it's from the state or federal level. And when you think about that, the challenge that our region faces is that the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, has maps on where the kind of census tracts don't meet the current federal standards. And the problem that the FCC acknowledges is those maps are really old and they're really poor, in the sense that if you have a very large geography and you have some broadband that goes through that geography that meets the federal standard, then that census tract might show that there is that broadband, but it might not be anywhere near where people live in that area, right? And so what we're trying to do is map this issue so that we can better challenge and apply for state and federal grant programs. Because if we don't, right now, many of those programs will say, oh, well, you meet the federal standard, therefore you're not as competitive. And what we're trying to do is collect data to show, no, we really don't. So that's kind of the highlight of that. Additionally, kind of moving forward after this, as we've talked about multiple times here, over the last few weeks, I did a series of interviews for the potential fellows that we would host related to broadband and our partnership with Lead for America and Purdue, where we would be able to potentially host an individual in the region for up to 2 years to kind of assist local governments and Main Streets and various organizations around topics related to broadband and high-speed internet, so that if you needed a resource, that we would be able to offer that more directly. So look forward to talking more with all of you about that, but wanted to give you just a brief update. My request is that there are 2 days left before July 16th. If in any way, shape, or form, you can continue to help us share that survey, it would be much appreciated as we're trying to get as many results as possible. This is also something that Indiana Farm Bureau is working on, so you may have seen it from them as well. It's the exact same speed test. Our speed test is flowing into their results. So it's not like if you did one, like if you do ours, that you're not supporting Farm Bureau. We're actually supporting Farm Bureau. So it's a partnership. So just ask that any way, shape, or form that you can help promote it. We got a few days left. We'd love to get even more results.
Sounds good. Thank you, James.
I can answer any questions if anybody's got them.
Now, we'll move on to the next one, which is Regional Comprehensive Operational Analyst Request for Proposal.
Yeah, so we're doing a deep dive into the transit systems of Transpo and the Interurban Trolley. We have a request for proposals that went out to hire a consulting firm that would study both of those systems, figure out where there are challenges, where there's opportunities for improvement. We received 5 proposals from national firms. We have chosen to interview 4 of those firms. We originally thought we would interview 3, but the scoring between 3rd and 4th was separated by 1 point. So it seemed pretty petty to knock out that 4th firm based on 1 point. So we have chosen to interview 4 firms. Those interviews are taking place on July 19th, and hopefully then we'll have a selection and get started on doing a deep dive into how those transit systems work and where there are opportunities to make improvements and hopefully transformational improvements around public transit in our region. So that's the highlight there.
Great, great. Last item there on is Disaster Recovery and Economic Resilience Plan.
Yeah, certainly. Last but not least is the Disaster Recovery and Economic Resiliency Plan. I gave kind of a deep dive about what that plan entails and how it relates to the READY process last month. But if you have any questions about that, let me know after the meeting. However, last month in June, we did 6 workshops related to different areas in the region, bringing together some experts to get a state of the region, what those initiatives look like. And then next week, next Monday, July 19th, we'll be having our steering committee meeting where we're going to start making sense of what those focus groups told us. So we have a lot of things that were mentioned in those meetings. This one's going to be focused on looking at some strategies that are already happening or things that we can do in order to improve the region. Then our consultant, Fourth Economy, will be taking that information back, starting to craft some strategies for our September deadline on that plan. So again, if you have any questions on how this relates to the READY process that we're all talking about as well, see me or James after the meeting.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Anything else, James?
That is all that we have to report from staff today.
Okay. So it looks like our next item on the agenda is privilege of the floor. Anybody have anything they'd like to bring to the board? Not, we'll move on to public comment. James, any public comment?
We did not receive any emails in advance of the meeting. I will check because we now allow folks to comment on the live stream. So I'll check with Zach to see if there were any live stream comments made. Zach says no. I can't hear you, Zach. You might be muted on your headset.
I am. There has been no YouTube comments made.
All right, great. And I don't see any in-person comments. So I don't believe there's any public comment today.
Okay. Like last item on the agenda then is adjournment. Motion.
So moved.
So we've got a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call here for adjournment.
Last one of the day. Commissioner Groninger.
Yes.
Commissioner Overmeyer.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hammond.
Aye.
Councilman Belovic.
Yes.
Commissioner Fleming.
Yes.
Councilman Root. Deputy District Commissioner Deitchley. Councilman Graham.
Yes.
Mayor Jenkins.
Yes.
Mayor Wood. Mayor Center.
Yes.
Mayor Tallmer. Mayor Robertson. Councilman Fish.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming today.
Thanks, everyone.